What's up, y'all? It's Vanelli Cuts here, and it's another scoop of the day this week. So here I sit with someone who has made a huge impact in the barbering scene in Pennsylvania. He's a mentor, he's a award winner, shop owner, father, and a living example of what happens when you mix passion and hard work. So here we are with Sal. How you feeling today, man?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So as we sit here, we're in one of your first shops.
Yeah, this is my first shop. This is the OG shop.
The OG shop. It's a pretty cool site. As you can see, there's a lot of pictures on the walls, a lot of things going on. So for today's scoop, we're just gonna go in and dive into the roots. So as I see, you come from a long line of like barbers, or a long history of barbers, let's say. Your grandfather was a barber.
Yes.
He owned a barbershop for many decades, right?
He didn't own it. He actually only was the manager at the shop for 50 years. He worked for a friend who, became like a second grandpa to me. And so my grandfather came from Italy, worked in a factory like most immigrants did at that time, and he was already trained as a barber and a shoemaker in Italy, and he became a barber for this gentleman while this gentleman served in the army.
Wow.
So he left, and my grandfather pretty much ran his shop for him, and then when he came back, they worked side by side for about 20 years, and then the next, 20 years, my grandfather was the manager of that shop. Everybody thought he was the owner.
Yeah, I mean,
because he was there every day, like open to close. So I mean, he never owned one. I think the biggest sadness in my life is that he never got to see me own one.
Oh, wow. Okay. So. Well, and I'm pretty sure you lived up to that legacy regardless.
Yeah, it was cool working side by side with my grandfather. He was the one who taught me. It was an apprenticeship, traditional apprenticeship where I learned the trade from him. I learned customer interaction with him. It was hard because he was an immigrant, and it was different then because, we were working with walk-ins, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. And I gained a lot of knowledge because of how long he had did it.
Yeah. And,
it was a great experience, and it was a change in my life. At that time, I was going through a lot. So.
Okay. Well, you said that you were there growing up in the barbershop. Can you describe how that felt? And do you even remember your very first haircut? Is that something
I actually have footage of my first haircut. I look back fondly of it. I was there for my brothers. I have 3 younger brothers, and I was there for all their haircuts. And, it was an every 2-week thing. We went to the barbershop, we got our hair cut from our grandpa.
Nice.
Maybe we go get ice cream afterwards or something like that. But I grew up in the barbershop. Yeah.
Okay. So growing up in the barbershop, you swept a lot?
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, especially during my apprenticeship, I remember sitting down while he was cutting, and he said to me, if I got to stand, you got to stand.
There you go.
And I to this day, still, when I work with an apprentice, I still, a lot of them will, get bored after a few haircuts and want to sit down and scroll through their phone. And I'm like, whoa, what are you learning over there? Because you should be watching me.
100% engagement. Yeah, no, 100%. So when did you decide to take barbering serious? Like, what was that transition?
Well, it was a big transition in my life. I was at the time I was about 6 months sober.
Okay.
I had a very bad drug addiction. I was homeless. I was eating out of trash cans. My life was very, very horrible. I had multiple arrests, and I didn't have much options at the time. I was always a good artist, and it was kind of between tattooing and barbering.
Okay.
And
which I could see that in your barbering. And
I was like, you know what? This is more practical, especially back then. This was 2000 and maybe 9, I think. And I was like, this is where I have to go with this. So I asked my grandpa to be an apprentice, and the rest is history. I mean, I learned from him. I learned from the other barbers there. I went to other shops and learned from other shops, especially cutting ethnic hair, coarse hair, things like that. I didn't have that kind of practice or mentorship at my grandfather's barbershop, so I sought it out.
No.
I went to other shops and traded some knowledge with them. Like, there was things that they could learn from me and I could learn from them. So I thought that was important in me coming up, was learning how to do every kind of haircut. And but that's kind of how the story started. I was homeless. I was a drug addict. I had kind of made a mess of my life, and barbering saved my life.
I love that. We will get a little bit deeper into that. Right now, we're gonna stick to the opening of the OG shop where we are right now. So you opened this shop, you said, about 10 years ago in 2015.
Yes.
What was your original concept for all of this? Because, like, when you walk in here, guys, it's like, you see me looking around, there's just so much that your eye can grab. So what was the concept for this barbershop? And all of them after.
So the original concept was to be somewhere that Joe the executive could go, or Joe the plumber.
Okay.
Basically something affordable for all ages. I'm very fine-tuned, like with kids, autistic children, things like that, sensory issues. I wanted to be a safe haven for people like that to come and enjoy the barbershop experience. So, like, barbershop, I just wanted to have that traditional but new age quality for my barbershop. And so originally the idea was, red, white, and blue, not just because it was barbering, but because for America.
Yeah.
And I think red, white, and blue is my my color theme, and the reason why it is my color theme is because most people that are in America actually enjoy those colors.
Right.
They're very appeasing, and so yeah, that was like red, white, and blue. Give away snacks, be something affordable for Joe the plumber, Joe the executive.
And it's obviously worked out, been very successful for
Yes.
you. So at what point did you realize from opening this barbershop that you were going to be able to open so many more? Because we were just talking about it. He at one point had 10. At this point, he has 8.
Yeah.
Still a lot of barbershops.
Yeah, it's a lot to manage. But originally, so what happened was, I was here by myself at first, and hell or high water, I was going to come up with a way to pay the lease. And I was nervous at first. I think anybody who goes into a venture is nervous at first. Mm-hmm. But what I turned to my wife, and I remember saying to her, like, no matter what, I'll be okay. Like, we're going to make this happen. And long story short, I opened the first store. I hired a few other barbers. And then I got a lot of people asking me to teach them how to cut hair. And before you knew it, I had too many potential barbers as well as apprentices, and people, heard about like the new barbershop in town. And so people were coming to me asking me how to learn how to cut hair. So before you know it, I had too many. So, and I was also in the process of trying to buy my first home.
Okay.
So and I was successful right away, which was a true testament to how hard I worked. But, cause it doesn't just happen.
Right.
I worked really hard for this first one to be good, if not great. And then from there, I went out to like further out, and I identified a good location that did not have many barbers in the area, that was up and coming. I actually would look at city data and find places that people were moving that had a high growth rate, meaning there was 20% growth at my second location's area. And when I looked and saw the competition, I knew right away that I would succeed there, because I saw barbershops that were like older barbershops where maybe there was only 5 pictures on their Google profile.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And maybe only like 10 reviews. And I understood the social media aspect of it all. And I understood what being on the front page of Google and how people searched for what they needed, especially when they move into a new area. So now if this place has more growth, what are they going to do? They don't have a barber there. They're going to look up a barber. So even though I might not only been there for 2 months, I had 200 pictures of haircuts. I had 50 to 60 reviews to start off. And so I shot to the front page of Google right away. And with that, I was able to bring them in and you know, one store after the next and partnering with a few guys, I was able to create this kind of empire barbershops.
Yeah, definitely. And that you did, man. That's crazy gems. You definitely needed to listen up to that one. If you weren't listening, you gotta rewind and go back. All right. So it's kind of crazy hearing you talk because it seems like you've built everything from the ground up by yourself. And you've had some struggles. Now we could like go back and kind of chime into those struggles. What were some of the struggles and the challenges that you had to push through? And
in opening the shops?
Yeah, in opening them and just personal in your journey.
Well, in my journey, I mean, I had a rough upbringing. I was one of the oldest of 4 boys. My mother wasn't there when I was younger. She's doing really good now, but at the time, she wasn't there. My dad was a single father of 4 boys, and we lived in a 2-bedroom walk-up apartment, basically. It wasn't easy at first growing up, so I worked really hard, got good grades, went to college on a full scholarship. I worked really hard to become, you know, to get the hell out of here, if that makes any sense. And I got to college, and instead of being the leader I always was, I became a follower. Okay. And I got introduced to like cocaine and other drugs, and next thing you know, I lost my scholarship. I had to come back home, and it was easy to fall off at my trajectory. You know, I was shooting for the moon, and I just boom, I lost it all, and I had to gain it back through barbering. And I mean, for the first 7 years of my career, I worked for the same place my grandfather worked, doing $15 haircuts for like 50% commission.
Wow.
And you know, I would do 25 to 30 haircuts a day, and I worked really, really hard, saved up my money, opened my first shop, taught a lot of guys, offered things that other shops weren't offering, like snacks and refreshments and beer. And I remember my wife saying, like, "You're crazy. Why are you giving away stuff? Like, we don't even know if this business is going to work." And I said, "But like, think about it. It's only a 50-cent bag of chips, but to the customer that just got done working all day and he had to choose between going home and eating dinner or getting a bag or coming into a barbershop knowing that I had something for him to snack on to hold him over, and maybe a beer after a long day of work." It always, because like growing up, like if you came to my home, I was going to offer you something to drink or eat. Why should my business be any different just because I'm not going to make money off it? I am going to make money off it.
100%.
At that time, I was going to get $20.
And you're getting paid for more of the experience than just.
And the kids loved it. They would come in here, and it wasn't just a lollipop; it was a Rice Krispie treat or a fruit snack, and so I mean, some of the doing things different than everybody else was one of the things that was harder when I first opened, because I would see money come in, but I would put more money out in investing in myself. You know, you got to remember, to open 10 barbershops, I put out about $500,000 before I had a client. You know, I would open up in a location and not know anybody in that location, put 50 grand into a barbershop and pray. And pray. So, I mean, besides, you know, now I have 20 years sobriety. So besides my, you know, drug addiction and learning how to cut hair and learning how to be a business owner, which is not an easy thing, things were rough at first, but I learned how to use social media. I learned how to engage with the community. I learned how to be a philanthropist, and that means like donating to football teams, soccer teams, baseball teams, cheerleading, things like that.
I see that you do that a lot. I actually was on your social media, and like the first like 5 posts on your Instagram is like, raffle for this. You partnered with Child Health for something most recently. How important is that for you to be able to give back to the community?
Well, I think the barbershop is a big hub of a community, right? And so, you could have a judge next to a cop, next to a factory worker, next to a construction guy. And, it's a place where we could all get along and talk and have a good time and shoot the crap, talk about basketball or football or something. So I think the community rallies behind the barbershop, so I should rally behind the community.
Wow, that's deep.
So
that's very true. And then being able to use barbering as a stepping stone to kind of like heal yourself, try to heal the community and bring everyone together. How do you feel like barbering has actually helped you heal?
Well, so barbering definitely helped me heal my past traumas, because I was able to focus on my goals and achieve goals. But I also, I travel a lot. I wanted to see the world. So, I mean, the one thing I will say to people, and I've seen it done by other barbers like Rick Moran and a few other people, I've seen them use barbering as a tool, not necessarily as their main career. They use it as their main career to get where they wanted, and then they invested in real estate, stocks, other different projects. I was always one that, like, I wanted to see the world, so I invested in memories with my family, with, and helping other young barbers just like me who might have been through the prison system, might have been on their last straw and didn't know what they wanted to do, but they had an interest in barbering. So I gave back. That helped heal me. Training other barbers, and then in turn helping them. I had maybe 6 to 7 barbers in the past 10 years leave to open up their own shops.
Supposed to be a beautiful
And
feeling.
I still am friends with them. I still help them. They can call me at any point. I've helped even as far as their applications.
Yeah.
I've helped barbers all throughout the country, Kansas City, New Jersey.
Wow.
They'll call me because they see I have all these shops and be like, how'd you do it?
Yeah.
And I'd give them, an hour phone. We'd sit there and just talk gems. And for free. I've had a guy come all the way from Connecticut to my home to sit there and see how I run my business.
Wow. That should be a great feeling.
It is a great feeling to be able to help not only myself, but to help other barbers. I think that's where the true healing starts, is like, I could be selfish and worry about healing me, but like, I think I heal myself in helping other people.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's, you truly have faced a lot, and, coming out on top and creating this legacy for yourself. Your children now are also getting into barbering, and that has to be the best part of it all, seeing, your kids interested in something that you've built. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, so it's in my DNA. Like, one, barbering is in my DNA. 2, the grittiness, the hard working, the passion. Obviously, my grandfather taught me, so teaching is in my DNA.
Yeah.
So I've been helping as many people as I can get to where they want to go. And when my daughter, during COVID, said, Dad, I could cut your hair. I let her give me a buzz cut. I let her, practice scissor work on. It's funny because kids learn so much faster than we do. I remember trying to get the transfer of the comb down for the first month, and it was awkward. It's
everything is
muscle movement. Yeah. And she picked it up like that, and then next thing you know, she had a straight razor on my beard.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she's She's coming with me every Sunday at 5 a.m., you know. Even before all my daughter learning, who she was only 6 when she started learning and cutting. My brother, I mean, he came to live with me when my father died at 12 years old. And, you know, he didn't know necessarily what he wanted to be. He was a good football player. He went to college and all that. But then, you know, kind of the same thing. Like, college wasn't for him. And he was like, yo, let me learn how to be a barber. And, you know, he's killing it right now. Probably better than me, to be honest. But
he's killing it. The professionalism, everything.
But yeah, so like training him and other people pouring into him as well, you know, because people I trained helped train him too. So like it was all like, not everybody cuts the way I cut, which is fine. And I told them that in the beginning. I'm like, you know, you might see something on YouTube that is more comfortable for you. Right. And so we all have our own way in the industry, but like my daughter, I mean, dude, it's the biggest joy. So she's turning 12 in May. And so she's kind of stepped away from the scene right now. She still loves it, still wants to be it. She's already like, but she still needs to be a kid too. 100%. You know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, it was awesome. Like, she's been in competitions. Laced by Lily, by the way. Laced by Lily is her Instagram. Yeah, Lily's been competing since she was 8 years old. So, you know, not only just being a barber, but competing. And you know how scary it is the first time. She did her first time competing was CT Barber Expo, and
that is insane.
She got the 5th for the student category out of 36. Wow. She got the 5th. She got 5th place. Wow. And I know for a fact she got the 5th best score out of 36 because I saw the score sheets, and I mean crazy. She and right after, you know, she met level 3 and she got to be a part of their junior ambassador program. Before you know it, she had double the followers I had, and it was like what? I created a monster. Check this out. Yeah, but you know, it was hard too because like there's times I was a little too hard on her too, and I didn't want to take the joy out of barbering, but I wanted her to be the best, and that's all I ask for any of my barbers is to give forth their best effort.
Just show up and give 100%.
There's no different with my brother or my daughter.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I seen your daughter at one of the Berks County Barber Expos. She was on stage, I believe, with you. And then was that your son that you put the eagles?
No, he's a family friend.
Oh, okay, because I've seen him in multiple.
Oh yeah, no, he's went with me all the way to Jacksonville to the Jacksonville Barber Expo, and dressed up. We love dressing him up like, you know, a character like Joker. We'll do his hair green,
paint his face.
He loves it, and he's like. He's a pretty good actor. He's been in like a lot of my like I don't, and that was another thing that I kind of did more than anybody else, but like I'll make like Halloween videos and things like that, and like so he would help me do those. That's like nice. he would be my model to like really cool, and he doesn't care. He's like, do whatever you want in the back of my head. Dress me up however you want me to.
Yeah, no, that's pretty dope. Yeah. I actually bumped into you at the Barber County Expo this year.
Berks, yeah.
Because, bro, I'm walking by and I see this Eagles logo in the back of someone's head, but this joint is not like any Eagles logo. And I'll like try to put it up in the video. Yo, you have like your way with designs is insane. Like, I saw you at Clipper Madness. You guys were Mario and Luigi.
We did Mario and Luigi, me and Talon, yeah, Talon Barnett, yeah.
You guys did that. That was really, really cool.
So when you do designs, like, a lot of people just do, like, the squiggly lines with the fades and reverse fading and stuff.
A lot of people.
Hey, listen, cool, dude, I like it too. I like to go that extra, and, you know, to do a whole Eagles logo in 45 minutes on stage,
insane,
in front of everybody. Yeah, it takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of skill, not to toot my own horn, but it wasn't always like that. I have pictures of, they look like pigeons. They do not look like eagles. But no, you know, drawing with the clipper you got to remember negative space creates your lines, and that's like hard. It's hard to do. You have to have an eye for it. You have to practice it.
Not give up. I'll tell you that. I've been a barber for about 6 years. The first 2 years, I was all about designs. Kind of was just like, yeah, I don't do designs. I'm over it. And now I've kind of been like, yeah, we're gonna try this design thing again. But don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. Keep trying.
So what is your most memorable moment from any of the competitions that you've been in?
If we're just talking about competition-wise, I want to say my most memorable moment was, I got two though. So I'm going to share two. Okay. I got one, and they kind of happened back-to-back years, but the first time I went to CT Barber Expo, I was very nervous because you always hear it was like, and it was the 10th anniversary of the show. It was the 10th anniversary of the show. It was my first one. You always hear about how it's the Super Bowl of barbering.
Literally.
And I went super deep with all my barbers, all my models. We rented a big, huge house.
Wow.
And we competed 2 days in a row, and I must have competed in 8 competitions. And I came home with 3 trophies.
Nice.
Back-to-back days. I won traditional both days in a row.
Nice.
And that was probably, like, you made it. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, dude.
We're here, bro.
What?
Yeah.
And my daughter did very well that year, too. For her first time competing. Like, I was more worried, like, that just whole show, that 10th anniversary CT show was like, I'm getting choked up just talking about it because like it was a big defining moment in my career, and sharing the stage with my daughter, and but the next year winning the Barber Grammy for Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah.
That was up there, man. That was,
has to be.
All the hard work I put in to be recognized by a room full of my industry peers was, be able to shout out my grandpa. That was a lot. I'm trying to not be emotional about it, but just thinking back on the pride I have in those moments, I don't think, if you write a book about it, you know what I mean, or watch the movie about like all the things I went through to get to that moment. Yeah.
Truly special. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. So looking forward 10, 20 years from now, when people mention Sal's barbershops, what do you want them to remember or say about these barbershops?
I think about it often because, my grandfather, my dad passed away at 49 years old. I'm going to turn 40 this year.
Wow.
And, I don't know how much time I have left, and nobody really does. But if you just live every day and you just, I don't know what 20 years is going to, hold. I know that I'm trying to build, generational wealth between, my brother and my daughters, and, make memories with them, like travel in the world. I don't really care what anybody thinks about, 20 years from now for me, but I know that, if I continue to work hard and I build something that's sustainable, and I'm always a pillar of the community, that, I just know it's going to be good, But if I ever take my foot off the pedal, the gas pedal, you can't cheat the grind. You have to grind every day. You have to wake up like nothing's owed to you. And if I just continue to live with that mentality, in 20 years, there'll be 20 barbershops.
Love that. So before we wrap it up, can you just give one really good piece of advice to a barber that's just starting out and wants to open up maybe their first barbershop, or wants to open a couple barbershops, but just can you speak to that barber?
First things first, be consistent, be there, because you can't be cutting hair when you're at home playing video games. You can't be availability is the best ability. You can't cheat the grind. Customers aren't just going to show up and be like, I've been waiting for you my whole life. No, you actually, listen, so best thing I can say, right? Check this out. You go on Vistaprint right now and you print out, say, 5,000 door hangers, right? And it costs about $200. And you go to, apartment complex and you talk to the apartment complex manager and you ask if you can hang them up or give them to them and they'll put them in new tenant information. But long story short, think of it like this. That $200 investment, if you get one client that spends $25 with you every month, that's that's about $300 a year.
One client.
That's just one client that you got off that door hanger. You still got 4,999 door hangers to make another $300 per person with. So just because you hand one to somebody and they might throw it in the trash or whatever, just remember that if you don't hand it to them, they're not going to know who you are. If you're not going to post about your haircuts or get creative, nobody's going to come. So, I mean, just don't give up. Like, you can't cheat the grind. You have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's my best advice is, put in work, door hangers, business cards, flyers. The more time you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. Does it suck coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning and just waiting for somebody to walk in? Yeah, but if you turn that client into an every month client, now you're not waiting for anybody at 9 o'clock. Now you might be waiting for somebody at 9:30. And then after you get a 9:30 client that you lock in, I like reoccurring appointments. I got the same guys booking with me. My 2027 Christmas is already booked.
That's insane.
Like, you know what I mean? I can show you my appointment book now. It's like...
Tell them to book again at the end of their service?
No, I have them same time, every 2 weeks, every week, every month. No. And so the way, the way that goes is that, I train my clients to have that time of the week for me and for them so that they can decompress in my chair. And, we continue conversations that we might have had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And give to your community. Be a pillar of your community. By giving to your community, you're going to get the respect back and you're going to get the community standing behind you.
Yeah, the support, for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different gems and I'm available. There's people that are going to watch this and they're going to be like, yo, that was dope.
Yeah.
Well, send me a message on Instagram. Let's talk. I can help you. I'm not going to charge you to help you because people didn't charge me to help me.
That's real.
So I like to give back. So like if I can help you, drop some dimes, you know what I mean? I'm all about it.
So let us know where we can find you on Instagram and social media.
So it's Sal's Barbershops VIP at Instagram. It's the same thing for the website, which also has my email on it and my phone number. I'm available. I'm around. Sal's Barbershop. There ain't no other Sal's Barbershop. Never will be.
There you go. That's 100%. Well, thank you, Sal, for sitting down with me and chatting today. Your story has inspired me in so many different ways. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All righty, bro.
Go Birds.
I knew it. I was going to say go Birds.